Hello again. The Beziers massacre. It was one of the worst massacres in recorded history, and we thought we would probably never see the likes of that again. Unfortunately, it's happening again today in Gaza, in front of our very eyes. But it's in July that the massacre of Beziers happened, so it's a tale worth retelling, because it's incidents like this that really never should be forgotten because of the lessons we should learn from them about man's inhumanity to man and women and children. The crusading army, consisting of knights and lords from the north of France, encamped outside the city of Beziers on the 21st of July 1209. It was a vast encampment, and so they were settled in. But on the 22nd of July, some of the townspeople, the younger ones I presume, came out and started being cheeky and insulting towards the crusading army and taunting them. But what happened was the routiers, this is the camp followers, brigands, men just usually with one weapon, they weren't knights, and they attacked the people from the city on the bridge, and the people from the city soon found that they were outnumbered and withdrew to the city. But in doing so, the routiers caught up with them, got through the gates, and once they were through the gates, they left it open then for the rest of their mob, their brigands, to come through and storm the city. The knights had taken off their armour, and they heard about this, that the city gates had been breached and that the routiers were already inside, massacring people, robbing and plundering, grabbing what they could for themselves. So they hastily had to put on their armour and gird their loins for battle, and then get into the city themselves, which they did. But by this time, the routiers had plundered and taken and killed and murdered and taken lots of treasure for themselves. This really upset the knights, because the treasure belonged to them, the plunder belonged to them. So they started fighting with the routiers, and then the routiers were unhappy with this, so they started literally putting a place to the torch, lighting the city. So many of the citizens, they took, which was traditional for people to take, they took refuge in the churches, mainly in the church of the cathedrals of St. Jude and St. Mary Magdalene. And literally they crammed as many people in there. Who knows how many you can get into a cathedral, but they were crammed in there. And the knights, the routiers, everybody, their blood was up, and they literally massacred man, women and child, and then set the churches alight. It was a complete and devastating massacre to a major city. How many? We don't know. But the person in charge, the abbot in charge of the crusade, Arnaud Almalric, he wrote a letter to the Pope describing the incident proudly, what they'd done, and this is the letter that he wrote to the Pope. Indeed, because there is no strength, nor is there cunning against God. While discussions were still going on with the barons about the release of those in the city who were deemed to be Catholics, the servants and other persons, that's the routiers, of low rank and unarmed attacked the city without waiting for orders from their leaders. To our amazement, crying, "To arms, to arms!" within the space of 2 or 3 hours, they crossed the ditches and the walls, and Beziers was taken. Our men spared no one, irrespective of rank, sex or age, and put to the sword almost 20,000 people. After this great slaughter, the whole city was despoiled and burnt, as divine vengeance miraculously raged against it. But there's that famous or infamous saying, "Kill them all. God will sort out those that belong to him." This originated some 20 years later in a tale, or in a story, told by Beziers of Heichenbach, when they discovered, from the admissions of some of them, that there were Catholics mingled with the heretics. They said to the abbot, that's Abbot of Citeaux, Arnaud Almalric, "Sir, what shall we do? For we cannot distinguish between the faithful and the heretics." The abbot was afraid that many would pretend to be Catholics and later would return to the heresy, and is said to have replied, "Kill them all, for the Lord knoweth them that are his." Kill them all. Well, I thought, for one, that I wouldn't hear such a phrase again. And yet, young children
destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it.
Are saying that, singing songs, stating that very thing. Kill them all. You have Israeli politicians
Child in Gaza is the enemy.
You need to
arguing in Parliament about whether they should be nuked. Every person in Gaza completely and totally eliminated.
Every one of them, and that's it.
This is not just backroom talk. This kill them all is happening and recited and argued about in the Israeli Parliament. Of course, there are people on the other side, on Islam, who think it the same regards the Jews. Kill them all. Get rid of all the Jews in Palestine. At its essence, this is the evil side, the negative side, the bad side of religion. Someone said that the greatest evil that people do unto each other is under the banner of religion, doing God's work. Allah Akbar, Deus Vult. So here we are in July 2025, hearing the same thing that was recited back in Beziers in 1209. I think, going right back to the Cathars, who were originally all Catholics and were trying to get through their spirituality, through their mysticism, with their meditation, with just wanting to be good people, good men and women, good women. They were creating a philosophy, an ideal about unconditional love for everybody and everything, irrespective of who you are. Respect and tolerance for everybody. Even the Dalai Lama made the point, surely someday we will manage to rise above religion. Today, it's not so much the fact that we want freedom of religion. More and more it's pointing to the fact that we want freedom from religion. People certainly should be allowed to practice their own beliefs, their own religion, but it shouldn't be allowed to negatively impact on the rest of humanity who may not have those beliefs. And some of us who have no religious beliefs whatsoever, but at the same time we believe ourselves to be highly spiritual and even mystical. Simply out to be good men and good women. A few things. I wish to include a list of historical dates so that they're just for your own information. All the dates that are relevant to the Albigensian Crusade. And this is just for your own personal benefit. The other thing is, I don't ever ask people to subscribe or for assistance. If people want to subscribe, they can subscribe. It's not an issue. But I must say, I have commenced another channel, and it's called Quirky Perky Essential News. Quirky Perky News will get it anyway. But it's a news channel. I'm starting from scratch with no subscribers, no one. It's only happened a week ago. But I'm trying to get that channel mainstream, and I want to use it to have a voice for the voiceless. There are lots of people who are very deeply into spiritual and mystical aspects that really have no voice. There's politics and there's science and there's all these various voices, but there's not really much for people who are of a spiritual or mystical nature. Some of the things about politics, things that go on, they also could be aired as well. And also some of the quirky things that happen in the world today, a little bit left of field, offbeat, and to mix light stuff with heavy stuff, and throw in at the end a joke of the day. So I'm starting that. It's off from scratch, and so I would truly appreciate if you popped in, had a look, Quirky Perky Essential News, and if you make a comment, you have any suggestions that would help me improve upon that, I would also appreciate that, because at the moment I'm swimming in the great unknown. So they're only small segments, they're under 15 minutes, and it's going quite well so far. And one has to abide by the rules of YouTube. So if you have the time and you have a chance to pop in, have a quick look at Quirky Perky Essential News or Quirky Perky News, and if you can comment or subscribe, would be truly appreciated. Bye for now. Talk again soon. Oh, by the way, I still intend to put out YouTube videos on the Cathars whenever something that is truly relevant crops up, or that I get information that is relevant to Catharism. So that will certainly continue. Okay, bye for now. Talk again soon. Bye.